Thank you, George. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming over, guys and girls, for spending time with us. I'm Alex Gong. I'm one of the board directors of Fosun Group, also one of the global partners taking care of the group development activities global-wide, mainly developing these initiatives driven by technology. And I'm very much honored to speak here on behalf of Fosun Group. But before I start my session, I have to say, when I came across Paddy, who is the founder of this event, he told me he's not sure about if I'm going to show up here a second time in the next event if I don't speak well, so I will try my best. I think today's topic is about technology and innovation in China, represented by Fosun's efforts. And first, a couple words about Fosun, who we are, what we are doing. Okay, here we go. I think we got 25 years history, and we successfully caught the right wave in the last 25 years development of China economy. And right now we have evolved into a close to $20 billion market cap company listed in Hong Kong. But it depends on when you look at the share price. But I think we're kind of big. And we spread across the entire globe, managing a broad exposure to many sectors like healthcare, financial service, real estate, and hospitality. And in particular, in Portugal, we have a very good penetration here. It's thanks to George's efforts and thanks to our partners in this country. We are a major shareholder in Fidelidade, one of the largest insurance companies in this country, and also a major shareholder in BCP, one of the largest banks here, and also Louis Sawu, one of the largest healthcare chain in this country. And we're kind of international, and I think we're still working hard to further globalize our business portfolio. It's Hong Kong listed, but we are spreading across many countries, as indicated by this map. As you can see, we made a lot of investments in the last couple of years with a very clear intention to penetrate into kind of industrial operations in different local markets, like major gateway markets, something like the US, Europe continent, UK, and also emerging markets like India, Brazil, and Russia. So what I want to highlight here in particular is that Fosun really emphasizes a lot on the so-called C2M strategy. Essentially, what we're trying to do is to build an ecosystem to link the consumers to manufacturers of top-tier products and services across the world. But the link has to be enabled by technology. For example, we use a massive volume of data to predict the consumer behavior, which I'm going to elaborate in more details later stage. But the key here is how we can get access to a big base of customers and how we can collect a good portfolio of makers, manufacturers, service providers. So this is the matrix in our mind. I'm going to use a couple of cases to illustrate our idea. So first about consumers. Let me ask a question. Who is the real consumers? Who are the real decision makers? We have hundreds of people here. Who is making the decision on day-to-day, consumer decision making? Who is making the decision? Your wife, right? Perfect question. And this is my perception in China, but I'm sure this is pretty common everywhere. The wife is making most of the decisions. And the consumer needs mostly are driven by the wife, by the kids, by your pets. And the husband probably is less prioritized. So this is a kind of a typical family mode in most of the countries. So this is why when we talk about consumers, we're very much focused on families as a common unit where we should pay more attention to. And for maker, what kind of major product and service you are consuming? I think there are a lot of things on your list. We have housing products. You need a space. We have healthcare products, and you need entertainment, and you need hospitality, and you need food and beverage, consumer goods and services. So that's why we're very much focused on family needs for healthcare, for this is like health, and for financial service needs, for wealth, and also for happiness, which is represented by hospitality, entertainment, sports, leisure, etc. So in short, we are probably one of the largest startups with an international portfolio, with aspiration to build up ecosystem using technology as an enabler to build up efficient link between massive middle-class families and health, wealth, and happiness products. To make things happen, we need to do a lot of work. I think we need to collect, accumulate, and also do a deeper dive analysis of massive data to predict, to understand, to cultivate the consumer behavior, and more importantly, to predict what's the need, to make sure you can deliver on time. You can customize your supply chain to customers' needs. And on the maker side, we have to make sure we have all of this strategic relationship with selected makers of the top-tier products and services in the worldwide scope. Right now, by sitting at home, in the sitting room of your home, you have access to product services provided and manufactured by India, by China, by the US, by British, with just one click. That means people are making their purchase decision based on worldwide beauty contests that select the most fit products and services from different countries, not only from the local market. So that's why we look at the data driven by technology, where they are, who are the families, what they want, and how we can source the best product services. So if you look at the figures here, in China, but I believe this is pretty much common in Europe if you are using WhatsApp. In China, people are using WeChat. It's not that different. If you look at the database, we're talking about hundreds of millions of customer base, active online with a wider access to whatever you sell, and with a wider access to intelligence. So there's no way for you to play against the consumers with a price asymmetry, information asymmetry. So that's why you have to stay transparent, you have to stay efficient, and you have to stay on the customer side. So what you are trying to achieve is to drive the consumer need and also to collect the maker's resources and build up the efficient connection between these two. Here's a list of figures I want to elaborate just to facilitate your understanding. So if you look at the health ecosystem, I think we have Fosun Farm, which is one of the leading private-owned healthcare service provider in China, and probably one of the largest privately owned player in China. They are serving 7 million and aiming to grow that to 20 million family consumers in China. And right now, we have registered online users close to 38, 40 million every year. And for happiness ecosystem, people know, I assume you are aware, we are one of the major shareholder of Club Med, the French resorts operator. They are operating close to 100 resorts worldwide with ski slopes, with a tropical beach, and we're providing these hospitality products to like a couple million visitors every year, and this figure is growing quickly. And talking about wealth ecosystem, let's take Fidelidade as an example. I think we're serving a handful of millions of customers here every year, and the figure is expanding quickly in other Portuguese-speaking area like Macau, like Angola, even moving forward, potentially in Brazil. And this figure is growing quickly. So this is where our base of family consumers come from. In short, I think this image reflects a quick summary of what we're trying to build up. An ecosystem, but with an open architecture. That means we don't provide only the product services sourced from the Fosun family, but also we're fully engaged in source the best product service with a good fit from worldwide with all kinds of formats of relationship, strategic alliances. And also, we are fully engaged in building and accumulating a customer database to make sure, we have a volume of customers, in particular families, to fully navigate our ecosystem, and also to make sure we can build an efficient match. Here's a mini ecosystem we have already built to a later stage. This is something I want to demonstrate here. In China, we're using a lot of internet services. And here's an interesting community represented by moms and kids. And this is a very unique segment represented by very unique behavior because they take care of each other very well. And their consumer behavior is represented by trust. So they don't really take any advice from you, from any commercial institution, but they take advice from their peers. So whatever the mom wants to purchase from online, the opinion leader is his peer mom. So that's why we identify this business opportunity. We take a significant stake in this ecosystem, which is called Baby Tree. So Baby Tree is an online baby and a mom community with all of this, service and products available online, but also with a lot of opinion leaders in this community making recommendations, and they are serving almost like over 10 million consumers online on daily active base. And also they have kind of multi sub-brands. It's called Baby Tree Breed, and it's called Baby Tree Hour. For example, in Baby Tree Hour, you can take pictures of your babies, of your families, and share that with your friends, and also keep the memories of the family evolution from pregnancy, from delivery until they grow up, until they get to the primary school. So this is essentially the lifeline record for the entire family. Something like Facebook, but significantly different from Facebook because it's uniquely positioned as a family solution. Of course, we generate kind of like a transaction over this platform, and the transaction volume is getting bigger and bigger. But what we care most is here's a great base of family, community for the entire China, and it's getting bigger and bigger. So riding on that base, we're very good at promoting our milk powders, your dark papers, or even kind of medical healthcare advices. So this is just one of the cases we have practiced in the last couple of years. So what we have been practiced, in this technology sector, with a synergy with other elements in our portfolio. We are also very active in healthcare. we made a lot of investments in healthcare in different parts of this value chain, from medical device to hospital operating to diagnostics and healthcare like pharma distribution. So if you look at these pictures, here's a real example of how we introduce the best-in-class technology, in particular in medical device, into China and implement that in a real market with volume. The second case actually is called Da Vinci. Da Vinci actually is a kind of a leading technology-driven, minimum invasive surgery solution provider. Essentially, it's a medical robots who can operate surgeries with a minimum invasion, with minimum negative impact on your body. It's super expensive, but they are operating thousands of surgeries in China on a daily basis. And we formed a joint venture with them, promoting this cutting-edge technology in China, and right now it's super welcomed by Chinese hospitals and patients. And I think this is representing a great market in the future, not only by Da Vinci, but also other medical device opportunities researched, developed, and implemented by Chinese companies and non-Chinese companies. Also, we made a lot of active investments in financial service, in fintech. For example, we invested in a company, it's called Lianghuapai, which is very good at collecting the data of your credit of like hundreds of millions of people, and it quickly comes out with automatic rating and tell the bank and tell the lenders who are the right guy for you to lend money to. So the entire cycle for you to submit application to the time you got the money probably is going to be less than 24 hours, as long as you have registered online through the account. And also we invested in a UK-based fintech company. It's called Flu, which is providing a big data cloud computing-driven technology to enhance the underwriting accuracy in telematics, to enhance accuracy of underwriting for the insurance business. And they have been partnering with many leading insurance companies, including Fidelidade. And we sponsored a very interesting initiative. It's called Protecting. Protecting is aspiring to encourage young entrepreneurs, in particular in Europe, in Lisbon, to start their own business with a great aspiration, with a passion for technology, and we help them to realize their dream. And Protecting startup competition has been conducted for a continuous 2 years. And as you can see, we have over hundreds of teams joining the competition. They are coming here not only for a monetary incentive. The monetary incentive actually is quite limited. The big thing here is that we're encouraging them to bring their product service to China to have a road show, to make sure they can have access, better access to massive volume of consumers, and also they can get a better funding support from Chinese investors. We believe this is going to be a meaningful practice moving forward, and this is going to be a great initiative which is going to be expanded to a bigger scale. Say we're going to bring that to China, to the US, to Israel, to Korea, and to other innovation-driven markets. And here's selected few pictures, beautiful pictures. You probably can see the image of George, who just spoke a couple minutes ago. So in short, so who we are a China-originated investment operational company with a broader global portfolio, but with a great aspiration to implement cutting-edge technology into all of these traditional industries. We're probably one of the largest startups in the world, and we have a very strong commitment to developing with our Portuguese, European, and global partners everywhere in major countries to further reinforce our presence, but more importantly, to bring a good welfare to consumers, to families, and to help our partner, to help our product and service providers to bring their service to more markets, to have a better penetration, to make sure we can seamlessly work with each other to generate a better future. Thank you very much.